we have got to talk about this lure right here. This lure have broken my PB bass on it, 23 3/4 inches. I'm trying to figure out when I can use it, where I can use it, but from what I've figured out with it, this dude catches fish, and we're about to talk about what it is, how much it weighs, how long it is, and how I'm having success using it. And this is the Shimano Armajoint 190 SF. It's another flash boost lure, weighs almost 2 ounces, about 7 inches, 7.5 inches I should say. All right, and here we have the Armajoint unboxed. So you can see that flash boost sheet in there working. If you watched any of my other videos, you know I love that flash boost. Love it here too. When that lure's sitting still, it's sitting there wiggling and flashing. Fish seem to really strike it, but let's go ahead and get into the other features of this guy. So when you load up to cast this lure, it'll kind of bend over like this joint in here, and that's going to make it cast straighter, and it's not going to roll as much on you, and it does do that when you cast it. That's you know, they show it to you in the commercial, and that's a real deal. All right, next thing, you can see it's got 3 joints right here, and this big joint right here, where you get the most movement, is right here. And you have this plastic tail. This tail is held in here by a little rod, and the plastic has a hole in it, and you can just thread it back on there and stretch it through. They give you 1 replacement tail. I think I've caught 7 or 8 fish with this guy, and there hasn't really been any damage to that tail. So unless you just get a hold of a gar or a pike or something along those lines, I don't see you having any problems with that tail. I wouldn't recommend storing it with other lures and letting that tail get bent over in the tackle box, because you know it may warp or something over time. I prefer to keep storing it in its original container if it's not on a rod, but it stays on a rod a lot of times. All right, next cool feature. So it took me a little while to figure this out. These are the hook hanger holders, I guess is what we would call these. So there's a wire right here, and if you take the eyelet of your hook, put it on there, put a little pressure, boom, it'll pop in. And now you can see it keeps that split ring and that hook tighter to the body of the lure, and it swings and flies around a little bit less. You do it with the other side, same way. Get the eye of that hook lined up with that wire, boom, click it in. It makes a good audible click. Now, these hooks will not foul up on each other. And then whenever a fish comes up behind it, grabs the hook, grabs the lure, doesn't take much pressure at all to pop right out of there. Fish gets hooked. So you don't have to fish with these guards, but it does help you from getting fouled up on your line, having the hooks foul together. All right, now I want to talk a little bit about how I've been using this lure. When I first bought it, I thought, man, this thing is 2 ounces. The heaviest lures I normally use are like 1/2 ounce. So a 2 ounce lure, I'm just gonna bomb cast this guy out in the middle of the water and just slow reel it, and something's gonna come up and whack it. And I was pretty wrong. That's not really what you do with this guy. So what you do, you take it and you do kind of a low roll cast around heavy cover on the outside of it. Don't throw it right in the middle of it, because it will get hung up. And you let it sit, and you kind of almost do a walk the dog. You do like a half reel turn and barely twitch your rod. And this guy will go this way. And then when you do it again, he'll go this way and kind of like almost twitch back on himself. And then when you twitch the rod again, he'll get straight. And it doesn't, if you just twitch and reel half turns, it doesn't go very far, and those big fish will just come out and they'll hit it. Now I have found you can do 3 or 4 twitches, you know, it's not really going anywhere, and then all of a sudden reel 3, 4, 5 times, and then they'll come up under it and hit it then. They just want it to go fast for just a little bit to make it look different, and then they whack it. You have to be careful though, whenever you're reeling it fast like that, it seems like they very rarely get a good swipe at it. You may hook them on the outside of the mouth. They may only get one, you know, little part of the treble hook. So if you're gonna reel it fast like that, reel it fast just a few times, then stop. Okay, so now I'm going to put up a couple catches from this lure. This first one is going to be my personal best bass, 23 3/4 inches long. If you've already seen it, hopefully you enjoy watching it again. It was a nice fish. All right, what'd you think about that catch? That thing smacked it like it was a topwater lure, and it had it all the way in its mouth too. That was a pretty good hookup. It really wanted this Armajoint. Now we're gonna look at another catch. This was in a river, a little oxbow off of the river, and they tell you that you need clear water to fish this lure, and I don't buy into that. I think if you can get it close to hard cover, you know, be that logs, sticks, brush piles, what have you, and you can make this guy hang out on the outside of it, just kind of slow twitching it. I think it's got the drawing power to draw those fish out from where they are, and they'll smack it. This lure is so big that it's got a lot of drawing power to it. And this next catch, watch this. This water was dirty, and you can see it from this video. So wasn't that water muddy? But that fish still came out there and smacked this bait. And I've got several more catches with this guy, and I'm gonna keep getting more catches with it because it is a fish catcher. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right there. Let me know what you think about this lure. Do you plan on picking it up? It is kind of pricey. I didn't tell you the price originally because there's a little bit of sticker shock associated with it. It's about $44. That's one of the most expensive lures I own, and I'll slowly buy a few more of them, but they are expensive. But $44, that's kind of a big commitment. So if you're gonna buy it, make sure not to throw it into a tree. That would be an expensive bad cast. All right, thank you for checking out the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe I've convinced you to check out the Armajoint, or you know, maybe I've convinced you not to. I don't know, but I do recommend you give it a shot. Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you think.